Hello, everybody. This is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Part 2, Chapter 10. From this evening, a new life began for Alexey Alexandrovich and his wife. There was no outward sign of it. Anna continued to go into society, and especially affected the Princess Betsy, and everywhere she met Vronsky. Alexey Alexandrovich understood it, but was powerless to prevent it. Whenever he tried to bring about an explanation, she met him with an affectation of humorous surprise which was absolutely beyond his penetration. No change took place to outward observation, but their relations were extremely variable. Alexey Alexandrovich, a remarkably strong man in matters requiring statesmanship, here found himself at his wits' end. He waited for the final blow with head bent and with the resignation of an ox led to slaughter. When these thoughts came to him, he told himself that once more he must try gentleness, tenderness, reason, to save Anna and bring her back to him. Every day he made up his mind to speak, but as soon as he made the attempt, the same evil spirit of falsehood which possessed her seemed to lay hold of him, and he spoke not at all in the tone which he meant to speak. Involuntarily, what he said was spoken in his tone of raillery, which seemed to cast ridicule on those who would speak as he did, and this tone was not at all suitable for the expression of the thoughts that he wished to express. Chapter 11. What had been for Vronsky for nearly a year the only and absolute aim of his life was for Anna a dream of happiness, all the more enchanting because it seemed to her unreal and terrible. It was like a dream. At last the waking came, and a new life began for her with a sentiment of moral decadence. She felt the impossibility of expressing the shame, the horror, the joy that were now her portion. Rather than put her feelings into idle and fleeting words, she preferred to keep silent. As time went on, words fit to express the complexity of her sensations still failed to come to her, and even her thoughts were incapable of translating the impressions of her heart. She hoped that calmness and peace would come to her, but they held aloof. Whenever she thought of the past, and the thought of the future, and thought of her own fate, she was seized with fear and tried to drive these thoughts away. By and by, she repeated, when I'm calmer. On the other hand, when during sleep she lost all control of her imagination, her situation appeared in its frightful reality. Almost every night she had the same dream. She dreamed that she was the wife of both Vronsky and Alexey Alexandrovich. And it seemed to her that Alexey Alexandrovich kissed her hands and said, weeping, "How happy we are now." And Alexey Vronsky, he also was her husband. She was amazed that she could believe such a thing impossible. And she laughed when she seemed to explain to them that everything would simplify itself, and that both would henceforth be satisfied and happy. But this dream weighed on her spirits like a nightmare, and she always awoke in fright.